Hello. This is Susie Ramroot coming to you the day after Boxing Day, so the 27th of December. And I'm shooting a number of these short videos in answer to questions I've received from my email list and my Facebook community. And interestingly, the answers that people want this Christmas are about me. So I'm going to be really self indulgent. But obviously, I hope that the answers are going to help you too. So, the first question I got is what motivates me? What makes me really want to get out of bed in the morning? And that answer, I apologise if I'm wobbly, by the way. I'm sort of holding my phone with one hand. The answer is simple for me, really, but there's some teaching in it. So the way that question was put to me was as if I have some magic thing that I happen to have in my life that motivates me and gets me out of bed in the morning. And the honest truth is that if you don't structure your life to have something to look forward to, you're probably not going to want to get out of bed in the morning. So for me, it's the really simple things. It's about having things to look forward to and the way that I start my day. And the way that I start my day is with a healthy breakfast with my daughter, or just I sit with my daughter while she has her breakfast and I hold her little hand on the way to school. Now, even if I had nothing else planned that day, that hand holding on the way to school is so important to me that it makes me jump out of the bed in the morning and get excited about how I'm going to start my day. Now, the reality is, if I didn't have something scheduled in my day after that moment, my day would start going downhill from about 8:50 in the morning. So I set my day up with things that I have to do. Now, this is language that I would not typically use because it suggests obligation and it suggests that it's not much fun. But the things that I have to do are the things that will contribute towards my goals. So, for example, if my goal is being the best wife possible, then I will be doing something in the morning that is going to contribute to me being the best wife possible. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get me the reward or the accolade of that. So, in other words, it's not necessarily something that my husband is going to notice and say, "Oh, Susie, you are the best wife possible." But it's something that I'm going to be happy with and know that I've done my best today to contribute to being the best wife possible. So that's kind of a soft example, but a more practical example is if I really want to grow my business, which I do consciously. I always say I want to grow my business, but in reality, there are times in 2018 where I've played small. I've not taken actions that I could really have leveraged because I was a little bit afraid. So, for example, I look back on my goals about 3 weeks ago, and I had things like, I want to be on the radio, and I want to be in a national magazine, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. And in reality, in January last year, I secured myself some coverage for a local magazine. And then I sat back on my laurels. I patted myself on the back and I said, "Ooh, look at me, aren't I great? I got in a local magazine." And then I sort of didn't really do anything else. I got in local papers. By March, I was in 3 local papers, I think. I had an article published online. In May, I was in an online version of a national magazine. So you could say I ticked the box. But the fact is that I didn't really go for it. I didn't really put a fire under myself and make that my number one priority. And that's probably because it wasn't my number one priority. So I think it's helpful when you look at what motivates you and, whether you're going to get out of the bed in the morning, which is what this original question was that I'm answering in a very roundabout but hopefully very useful kind of way, is that you've got to just not overwhelm yourself with loads of goals. When I look back at what I said I was going to do this year, I thought it looks exciting, it looks stretching, but I ultimately thought it was achievable. But what I didn't sort of factor in was how I might lose interest halfway through, or if I might do some interim sort of steps to get me there, would I still be motivated to take the next step? And actually, not in a bad way, I just wasn't that interested, and so I didn't do it. Now, there are other things that I have done, but when I looked back 2-3 weeks ago at that goals list. I thought, God, I didn't even do anything really about getting on the radio. I've been on the internet radio, but I haven't really got on the proper radio. And then I sat next to a lovely lady who's crossed my path a number of times over the last few years, and she invited me on her radio show. And it was a hospital radio show, so it wasn't broadcast to anywhere other than the people in the hospital, really. But I felt really good about doing it because my relatives have been in hospital for an extended amount of time before, and hospital radio is really blooming important when you're bored and you're sitting in the bed and there's nothing to do, you have no TV. Hospital radio can be a real saviour. So I was just speaking to the one listener whose life I could potentially change with my advice, and I spoke to that one person throughout my broadcast, and maybe I changed 1,000 lives that day, who knows. But I was really just talking to the one that might just do something as a result of what I was talking about. Now, what that did for me is it stretched me to be on live radio with live listeners. Most of the time, I'm not really aware of who's listening when I'm on the internet radio. It meant I got in a real studio. It's the first time that I haven't dialed into a show. Normally, I just get dialed in via the telephone, whether that's internet radio in the UK or it's in the States, where I've also been on the radio. But being in a studio really gave me that feeling of, right, okay, I get when they play the jingles and do the travel and do the, well, they don't do travel in the hospital, obviously, but the news and all that sort of stuff. It really gave me exposure to how that worked. And because of that, 1 week later, I ended up being on BBC Radio. So when you do things that they might seem small. So you might look at hospital radio and think, oh, it's only hospital radio. But the fact is, I felt like I was making a contribution to a much bigger goal. I felt like I was readying myself. And so in terms of being motivated, if I know that every day I'm contributing to something that is going to stretch me and grow me in a relevant way towards the person I want to be and the business I want to have and the people that I want to have in my life, then I feel really good about that. I'm sort of answering the second question, which is what makes me satisfied, but I will do another video on that. So in summary, what motivates you to get out of bed has to be something that you planned before you got in the bed. So there's no point sort of lying in bed, going to bed every night and wishing that tomorrow is going to be better, hoping that tomorrow is going to be better, unless you have tactically planned something and strategically aimed in a direction that you want to go in. So being passive about these things really does not help you one iota. So I hope that answers the question. And let this be a reminder, if you're only catching the end of this video, let this be a reminder. You cannot wish away 2018. You cannot hope that 2019 is going to be better unless you have got a strategy. And you know exactly how you are going to play it tactically, so that when a curveball comes your way, you know how to manage it. It was sort of predictable because you know what direction you're headed in. So I hope that was helpful. If you want help working out what on earth your strategy is for next year, don't wait till January. I'm available now. So if you would like to book a call with me, just private message me. If you look in my calendar now, it will say I am unavailable. But to anyone watching this video, I shall make myself available. So if you want to talk to me about this, please put a comment underneath this post or in this email, depending on how you're getting this video, or you can just private message me on any social media today. I look forward to hearing from you. Take care.